Hi, this is Charting Man Dan of TheChartGuys.com, home of technical analysis education. Click the link for a free week trial, no credit card required, and gain access to our multiple live broadcasts daily, community chat room, educational videos, nightly watch lists, and more. Invest in your education and future and join the community today. Hello gold friends, looking at the daily, weekly, shorter term time frames of some bull bear miners. We'll look at it all here. So gold is still weak. We have lower highs and lower lows, the prevailing pattern, and it is a bullish reversal candlestick. You can see the upper wick and lower wick being the same size does show indecision here on the daily time frame. We had an initial bullish reaction to the non-farm payroll numbers this morning, and then that was quickly erased as we hit lower lows. A couple things stand out, which we'll go over. And one thing I want to touch on is the fact that China is opening back up this Sunday, and they've been closed for a week. And personally, I'm just putting myself in that position. If I were unable to trade all week and I watch this dump happen and I see exactly this chart, I see the oversold RSI, I see a bullish candlestick, and I see 6 red days in a row, I'm looking to buy. And I think that's what China's going to be doing as well. And selling at this point would be silly looking at the technicals. And I don't know if China, if there's a lot of technical analysts out there, I'm sure there are, but if they're looking at this RSI in the daily time frame, they missed their point to sell, and selling now would be a poor decision. So let's look at the weekly. Still very bearish, and we did break that level of 1252.80, so we are looking down at 1200 as the next support. That doesn't mean that's where we're headed, because the uptrend, the bulls have been forming higher lows. So you can see last time we started pulling back, and that's a bad example of what I was going to say there. But either way, the fact is the bulls are going to be looking to form a higher low, and as long as it's above 1201, they will be successful in that. So looking for a bullish reversal candlestick to form next week if this bounce begins to play out. And the hourly chart very clearly is still struggling. Lower highs and lower lows. We did get some higher highs and higher lows to start this morning with that bullish reaction initially, and then giving it all back and dumping to new lows, and now we're seeing another oversold bounce try and play out. And bulls aren't going to prove anything to me until we can get over these highs back here of 1270.25. That's what I'm looking for the bulls to prove some strength to me, and we still need $10, $11 to see that play out. So I am not convinced as a bull at this point by any means. The RSI on the 4-hour chart is coming off of oversold. The RSI on the daily chart was the second most oversold we've been in 2 years, and we'll see if we get a similar bounce. In the last video, I pointed out the $70 bounce, the $90 bounce, and the $180 bounce. The last 3 times the daily chart was below 30 RSI, so we'll see if we're going to see some similar kind of gains, even if a $40 bounce from here, and we're right back at 1300. So it wouldn't take a ton of upside to erase the big dump that we've seen, but the bulls have a lot of work to do. Now, what stands out to me is the fact that we dumped and hit a lower low on gold compared to yesterday by over $8 and right around $8. So that is a very clear lower low, but you look at the bull miners and they did not get a lower low. They both established a higher low today. So that tells me people were loading bull miners. Look at JNUG volume. Volume for JNUG was 39 million, let's call it 40, and the previous highest volume was 36. So we saw 10% increase in volume. Clearly it was favoring the bulls today on the candlestick with the lower wick and the bullish action to start the day. So that tells me volume climaxes oftentimes signal the bottom of an uptrend or the bottom of a downtrend or the top of an uptrend. So here's an example where it might be signaling the bottom of a downtrend, and we're certainly seeing heavy loading, a higher low and a higher high. And again, the fact that gold dumped $8 lower and bulls defended support from the low of yesterday, SPY wasn't entirely strong today. SPY dumped down back to that 214 area that we've been bouncing off of the past week, and it's certainly not attributed to a bunch of strength in SPY, the fact that we did hold that level. So it's notable, in my opinion, that some bulls are loading. NUGT volume was not as significant. We did also form a higher low and a higher high, but we saw less volume, 55 million compared to 72 million on that big dump day. So JNUG looks healthier than NUGT. If I had to choose one or the other, JNUG stands out for some slight differences, but it's significant enough that I would choose JNUG over NUGT at this point. And looking at the bears, now we're pulling back, losing. Well, actually, we held the upper Bollinger Band support on dust by 2 pennies, but a bearish reversal spinning top being confirmed with the lower high and lower low, and we actually did get a higher high by a dime, 15 cents there. Either way, very clearly giving back a lot of the gains of the past day. And so it is a signal that we may be in for consolidation. Look at the RSI at 70. We rejected from 71 last time. Here we are rejecting from 70. And if we pull back, we're looking at the 100-day moving average of 40.78 as support. And checking in on JDST, RSI didn't even get that high and it's pulling back. There's the lower high and the lower low on JDST, confirming the bearish reversal spinning top, almost a doji there. But there's another example where JDST sees a lower high and a lower low, and Dust saw a higher high. So Dust is stronger because the senior minor bears are weaker, if that makes sense, which it does if you think about it. So that's what we're looking at heading into tomorrow. I do anticipate China to be buying, and we'll see if that's the case on Sunday night. And the bulls really need to get back above 1270, and we'll look to confirm these bullish reversal candlesticks on the bull miners and look to continue some higher lows and higher highs. And there's gaps to fill, looking up at 1718 on NUGT. And JNUG, that gap is up at 1574. And there's no saying that we're going to hit that level and fill that gap on this bounce. We could bounce a little, form a lower high, higher low. But what stands out to me the most is the hourly or the daily RSI on gold being so low and starting to bounce now. And that in the past has led to some nice upside. So we'll check back in on Monday. I appreciate everybody watching. Thanks for all the likes and the shares. Hope you had a good trading week. Certainly lots of volatility in both directions. And every single time gold broke a new low, it was a signal to get into the bear miners. And so now every single time we see gold set a higher low and a higher high, it will be a signal to get into bull miners. So I appreciate you watching. Have a great weekend.